Comes what may, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Those who are being laid off. What next? What's next, right? What's next? Oh my God. So much is happening right now that we're saying, it's not just nurses who are affected by it, but we're going to talk a little bit about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. So, if you're one of those individuals who have been affected by the layoffs and shutdowns, and at the time of this recording, and we're looking to do something different or just to stay afloat, it's serious. So that's why I wanted to talk a little bit about this, because right now it's the thing that's affecting a lot, all of us. You may think it's not, and especially for those in healthcare. I'm gonna try and see if the light will stay on. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. All right. And we'll see how it affect us. We'll talk about that again in healthcare, because it has a lot to. There's a lot going on with that. I thought about doing some traveling and decided that I'm going to hold off a little bit. And it was just, just traveling to be traveling. And it's not for business or anything of the sort. So I decided I don't know if I want to get stuck in the airport with TSA and all of that stuff, all that other stuff. So I just chose to kind of lay low for a moment just to see what's happening. But for many people who are either they have been affected by layoffs, or they're laid off or furloughed, or told, let's see what's happening, or they were just totally dismissed. It's a cause for genuine concern. It's a cause for genuine concern because folks have to live, folks have to pay their mortgages and, roof over their heads, or whether they're the car that they use to get around, their legitimate expenses and things necessary. That many people, they depend on their jobs for that to be taken care of. I previously spoke about, even with the insurance, insurances that people will need to get to work, and also the insurances, I should say, that they got from work, and things that needs to be done, medication. Oh my God, it's rather expensive for some people, and their jobs, it really help them to put two and two together, like I said, to take care of the essential and the necessary things in their lives. And so we're looking at that. So it's not just nurses, but I want to talk about it because usually we used to think that with nursing we had job security. We used to say, oh yeah, we have job security. I've never been without a job. And sometimes I would have two or three jobs, or, the per diem, the full time, the part time, whatever it is. But now things change drastically. Things has changed. And so I want to know, have you thought about, or have you been affected? And I did ask in my last live, the one before this, if you can go back and check it out, are you prepared to do something different? And how are people being affected? And do I need to go more into it? Even with the government now, I reached out to a few nurses who work, at the VA and so forth. So far, so good for a lot of them. But there are those who, even in California, my goodness, at the time of this recording, some layoffs they're real, folks. They're really real. So sometimes it may require you to reinvent yourself, or to do something a little bit different, or to really now start thinking about, do I have enough of a nest egg or that emergency fund? And how many folks at this particular time have those? There are going to be those who say yeah, and there's some people who say, well, you know what, I live within means, and so I haven't really been affected by that. But that is such a big deal. It's a big deal for a lot of us who are in the healthcare and the wellness space that are being affected by. Mitchy Boo, welcome on in. Thank you for being here. Girl, I'm talking about all the stuff that's going on, but I know that God is fully in control and He provides for us all. But yeah, in the wellness space here, especially, I could say with nursing, never really an issue with getting jobs. Not that people aren't working. There are people who are working as travel nurses. There are people who are doing different things. Thank you so much. All right, no problem. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm just talking about the layoffs and all the things that are happening here and how it is affecting people. And just to really think of it, that while everything else is going on, the lives of people, people are still living and they're still trying to figure out, what to do about it. And so it's just, something that I'm concerned about. And it being concerned, thank you. And thank you for watching and just letting it flow while you do your thing. Got it. Got it. Yes. Love you. Thank you so much. Up, bless up. Yeah, guys, it's for real. It's really for real that people are being affected by this. I was looking at something and I think it was from, did I take some notes here? It was a video that I saw. I think it might have been CNN, so I don't want to go and take other people's stuff. But they were talking about certain things, how people are going to be affected. If there are some folks who may have to work, or are they going to work without, like, really, are they, there are those who may have to work without pay. So don't quote me on that. But some of the things that I was concerned about, like I said, I was getting ready for the weekend and I said, I don't want to get stuck. And even when I travel now, guys, I will say travel light. I always have a little thing around me that all my stuff is in there and it's going with me. I don't care if you say if I have to get off the plane, it's going to go with me. My little pack, that's going with me. Travel with carry on, travel very light. You don't have to bring a whole lot of stuff. So, your overhead, if you can do that, you're able to do it. So these are some of the things, and essentials too. I also tuck in my pouch. I used to have it here with me, but I have that little thing. So I travel very light, and I probably do something on that. How I am able to travel light and keep all the essential stuff and toiletries just right in a little pouch, right across, because it works. It really works. And then you have the carry-on wheels, of course, and be as I don't need a whole bunch of stuff, but enough to get around. So that's one of the things, concern. If am I going to have a lot of delay? Do I want to spend time in the airport, with these long lines? I don't know. So I kind of just decided, let me see. I still day because I'm one of those people like the last minute. So I still have 24 hours to make up my mind on what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, we're seeing where it's affecting people. And also too, one of the things that they spoke about are the park services. People are thinking about going to Yellowstone Park or wherever else, but there's some of that you're wondering, are they going to be affected by that? And I think so. But they're still working. So anything that's really in every area of our lives, you will see that, oh, maybe we are going to be affected by that. And also their children, they were talking about the WIC programs, the women, infant, and children programs, where people who are getting the support for food for their children and so forth. So there's just so much going on, and you're wondering how long are they able to survive without this. And we would just hope the powers that be are really thinking of the children, really thinking of us as constituents, as people. Don't want to get political about that, but we're just hoping and praying that the right thing will be done, because so many people or things are being affected, and also our veterans, and people may want to check that too, just to can see maybe their website to see what's available and what isn't. So for even veterans and Social Security, we're looking at that and seeing, are these things being taken into consideration, so you really know that yeah, that's how. And now to our nurses, for me it was always that there were always jobs, right? And you will think that they need staffing, and that's another thing. So I'm going to tell you right now, the wait in a lot of these places are going longer. And so, and I'm not giving it medical advice or telling people what to do, but people are going to have to make decisions like, hey, if there's something that I can go to an urgent center or my primary care physician, is that what I need to do? Do I have insurance to do it? Can I afford to do it? Need to go to the emergency room? You do what you need to do, because I'm going to tell you right now. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So these are some that, are cause, I would say, for concern for many of our family members. Also, for or I would say it looks, for elderly. What about elderly care? What about elderly care? Are the elderlies being taken care of? Are they going to have the resources that's needed? And that's why I would tell people to check in on your loved ones. And I'm just hoping the churches and some of the communities will even more so, because I know there are those who are doing that. But I'm going to say there are going to be those who are going to be willing to check in. I think this is a great time too, where people are going to reinvent themselves. There are people who will say, you know what, I'm great at taking care of the elderly. Maybe that's something I can think of doing. There may be some people who will do, you could have a private duty business and say that's something that's going to offer. But yeah, guys, really, I want us to really truly think about how this is affecting us. And do you know anybody that has been laid off? Do you know anyone who has decided that they're going to do something different or go to work or maybe not even at all? That's a thought. And even with our nurses too, I'm saying there are going to be some advanced nurses, and I really truly believe this, and I've been thinking about it. They're going to probably provide services that people who may not be able to afford it. I'm not speaking to everybody, but I've been thinking about it. There are going to probably be some folks who are going to some nurse practitioners who maybe have to or probably think of it. I'm saying pro bono, but they're going to be those, I believe in my heart, that probably will be doing some form of care on some patients who may not be able to afford. So all of us, we're in this together. We're all in this together to see how we're going to support each other, how we're going to look for each other. And even when things starts to happen, we can reach out and say, you know what, this person needs some help. This person could use the support needed. Hey, Allison, what's going on? It's so great to see you. Allison Mapp is in the building. I missed a couple lunchtime, girl, but I'll go back and catch the replay. Allison, girl, all the layoff that's going on, I'm just like, what? It's affecting a lot of people. And even those on the social services, yeah, the social services. We're wondering, we're worried about the children, we're worried about the and the elderly. Travel with a gray. Hey, thank you for showing up. It's been a minute, and this just had me thinking too. It had me just staying for the week. For the weekend of traveling. I don't just want to get stuck in these long lines. If I could avoid it, if I can avoid it, I would absolutely do that to avoid standing in those long lines at the airport while traveling. But there are people, like I'm saying right now, they have to think about, are they going to have insurance once you're laid off, once you're what is it, furlough, something like that, right? You have to look at it and say, well, is this something that we have to be concerned about? Oh my gosh, it's just so many things that's happening. And I feel the distractions are there for all of us. My nurses, yes, but I believe that the distraction is there. And some days it seems as if it's hard to concentrate. I thought it was just certain government jobs. Yes, not all of them. There may be certain jobs that are being affected. Absolutely, yeah. But by all means, people are being affected. Yeah, that's my concern. And we're looking at their resources. I'm saying right now, people are probably looking at what they have access to. Do they have access to healthcare? Do they have access to, where they get their medications? And if not, or for how long? So it's a lot of stuff that that's just so concerning right now. And every time you turn around, it's something else that's happening. And I'm saying, I'm just hoping that there are those who really truly care about us, that really care about people, and know that their lives are being changed. Just think that you're not able to pay your rent or your mortgage, and the next thing you know, sometimes too, you'll see people and people say, oh, they're homeless. How did that happen? You would just see that they were saying so many of us are what? Collectively, they're saying so many people are just one and a half or maybe two paychecks away from not having enough to take care of the things that are needed, that are necessary, roof over their heads, food on the table. It is a lot. And so that's why I'm saying that being distracted with everything else is like this. Okay, what else is happening and this and that? And I'm just like, I don't know who else is just tired. It's like you wake up as something else. And that's why, when we wake up in the morning, it is so important that we say those prayers over our lives. Yeah. Thanking God in advance for the new day, the breath of life. And you're going to have to just tell yourself, comes what may, it's going to be a good day. So it's like you have to speak the life over yourself and over your families and over your money, over your, what they say, speak over your pocketbook, speak over the wallet, whatever it is. I'm just saying that we just have to, in everything, um, because of what's going on, if we just stay angry all the time, if we just stay angry all the time, it will just take too much. And yes, I'm hoping that it doesn't last too long, because this has happened before, right? This has happened before, and I'm just hoping that it doesn't last too long. We're seeing where the elderly, the children, we're concerned, those who the physically challenged and mentally challenged, on all of those things, everybody, all of us, we're all, see, the thing is, we're all affected by this. Because say we're laid off, now what? Or this is to happen, now what? We're all affected. And now we are our brothers and sisters keeper. We're the keeper for each other. We're going to have to start looking out for each other. I don't know about doing potluck though, but I'm just saying, people may just need something extra. And if you can support, if you can extend, do that. And I'm sure right now the food banks are going to be up to here. And thank goodness that there's so many of them are able to give support. And I think that's an amazing way that people can get the support that's needed in their local communities. And I've talked about this before. I'm not going to, drag out, but I just want us to really be mindful of what's happening. Look out for each other. Be your brother's keeper. And you know what I mean, brother and sister, all of that. Be your brother's keeper. This is not the time for us to be pulled in different directions, worrying about how each person, what you're doing over here and what you're doing over, and it's this person's fault and it's that person's fault. We are coming to the point where everybody is affected by this. What happens to the economy, what we're going to do, how we may have to reinvent ourselves. But it is a cause for concern. It's a cause for concern in the medical. Yes, living below your means going to be very important. Yeah, guys, I was saying all the apps and things, if you don't need them, I went through my phone. If you don't know how to do it, YouTube will show you for all the subscriptions that's there that you're not using. Many of them you've forgotten about it. You've done these trial period and you've forgotten to what do you call it, you've forgotten to cancel, and the next thing you know, you're getting hit after hit after hit. So some of the things you may have to look at. Absolutely, yeah, some of these things, definitely look at it. If you, Elston, if you're not able to buy lunch, even though you say this is $5, that's $5, you add it up in a month and you'll see how much you've really spent. When in fact, I saw those little, what are bento boxes? They're cute, that you could put your lunch in it. You could put your lunch in there. I say put a challenge out. Do a 21-day challenge, a 3-week challenge to see if not spend any money. And then maybe after that, then you and your family can go out and eat, because that's the thing too. When we're living below our means, when we decide not to spend money, it is going to affect the economies. It's going to affect the restaurants. It's going to affect the stores. But we're going to have to be able to we're going to have to be able to say, hey, there's some decisions that's need to be made, and it adds up quick. Yeah. So I'm telling you, if you check last couple of stuff that you had to buy, whether it's 5 or 6, 7, say you give yourself, and I'm putting that out to you, and then you can make And I know you love to go shopping, so maybe you could do one of those where I don't know if you have to order them online, but they look like bento boxes. My grandsons, they have them. So you could put their fruits, you could put their snacks. I know it can, some of them can keep warm, and I know you have that little thing. I've seen Anisha LTV, she used to have the thing, has it where you could plug it into the I don't know if it's the part in the car where you can heat up the food. So I'm sure there are just ways that you can find out how you can become innovative with that and really give yourself that challenge. I remember once I gave myself a challenge to keep a $50 bill in my wallet. And I kept it there for a long time. It was just like, let me see how long I keep this money here, keep this here money without spending it. And if there are monies that I'm going to spend, it will probably be, I have a couple of fives and a couple of tens, not too much. But I try to keep that just in case if I have to tip. And, you know, you could keep five singles, a couple of fives, a 10 and a larger bill and see how long you can keep that. But if you have to tip, if you have to give, you know, that's not a problem. Usually, I remember I had this professor, and she said she used to take the subway and she always kept a $5 bill somewhere in her pocket. So if she had to give it, just give it and go. So people used to do that. And yeah, I think that would be great, Allison. Let's see how you can do that, right? Travel with a gray. I'm not sure what time it is there, but definitely, I really, think that people are gonna be a little bit more mindful of how they spend their, and I always tell people there's nothing wrong with investing in yourself, but when you invest in yourself there needs to be a return of your investment ROI. So people are going to, wow, oh God, that's making me yawn. 1:45 a.m. Just seeing that, wow. And I guess my notification came on. But that's the thing that I'm saying. Now people are going to be mindful because, yeah, they were like, if people are getting laid off and you would never thought about it. You know, you see people who are working extra shifts. I used to work those extra shifts because I wanted the additional funds to take care of some things. And so then you see people not putting themselves in extra debt right now. You may want to think about it. You may want to sell some of that stuff you're not using. All right, get some sleep. And so I appreciate you stopping by. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing, guys. People are really thinking about it. And I'm thinking too, like, what can I do differently in this season? Right? What can I do? Allison's probably saying, yeah, the same thing here. Alan, right? So that's the thing. I am just grateful for every person that comes on. Caribbean Gold Tony, thank you for just stopping by. And you know, we're talking about people not being able to take care of their families and living on a fixed income, a fixed budget. And you know, my channel talks about other things, but it's talking about the concern for some of my nurse colleagues who are and never really had to think about it are being laid off. Or you'll find places who are saying that they're not hiring, or they're places, you know, some people are looking to go back into working, especially in nursing, and they're like, oh no, you've been out of the floor for a long time, you've been off the floor, so we're not even going to entertain you working for us. And I'm like, oh my God. So there are lots of things, you know, that's happening. And we just need to look out for each other. What are you doing to make sure that if there are any family members or loved ones who you think might be affected by being laid off? What are some of the things that you could do to support them? Would you be able to check in on them? Would you be able to say, hey guys, if there's anything that you need up to a point? That's one of the things too, though. You're going to have to set healthy boundaries around the things that you are able to do. You have to be able to say, you know what, this is what I can do at this particular time. So you don't want to make what you're doing suffer. You want to make sure you're taking care of you. And that's why I always say, take care of you so you can give from the overflow. And even in times when it may seem to be a form of scarcity and a form of lack, you can definitely find ways of how you can be a blessing to others and how you definitely bless other people. So, yeah, I don't feel that people will have to be so afraid. Yes, take care of you first, Allison, and it's not selfish. It is not selfish at all. Continue to take care of you and make sure that you are operating from your overflow. Operating from your overflow and do what you can. Like when I do these lives, I'll do a pop up. This is just a pop up, right? I'll do a pop. I want to make sure that I'm doing the lives. I'll try and do one as much as I can. But what this is helping me to do is for me just to stay committed to something. Because, people can end up losing their jobs. And the next thing you know, they fall out of a routine of getting up early. They fall out of a routine of having something to do, and then you don't know if depression can just take its toll. Those things can start to happen. So even though there's another side of thinking about what happens when there are people who don't have that regular routine, just the regular paycheck, but the regular routine. Yes, that's why you have to take a break in a lot of things. Can't just keep going, going, going. But also when the shift comes, you will definitely need to make sure there's something that you have to do. Social media too, yeah, because going toward monetization thing has been like, I think also too, they know how to pull you in. And even some of my friends who are nurses right now, even their content, some of their content, it's not getting out there like it should. And I just see people like Think Nursing, she'll get on her bike, she'll do something different. She's also on another platform. People, I'm going to say for us right now, and I just have a few minutes left. Yeah, just to do what you can. Don't get to the point that you're going to let scarcity, lack, and getting anxious about, oh my God, now I don't have a job. I have to use social media. Or I have my job and social media is too much. Something you got to give. And if I were to tell somebody who's going to say, I want to try content creation, I would hope they were doing something else and do this on the side before it takes off. Right now, Allison says, I'm thinking people are going to have to actually watch how they spend money. They can taking their kids out of preschool because where I work, you have to, wow, every week and something per week. So now that's going to affect this is what happens. Let's say people start to pull their children out of preschool. After a while, they won't need that many teachers. They won't need that many people who come in to take care of the children. So what's going to happen? Now the jobs of the people who work there, it's going to be an issue. So even with the layoff, people are going to have to make decisions. Do I do childcare? Or especially people are totally said that there's no job. Am I going to do that? Or they may not have the extra funds to send their child to daycare or childcare for the childcare. So now you're going to see where it's going to affect the jobs of the people who work at those places. Yes, they'll start to do that less hours. Even in the hospital with nurses, you'll see them, they'll say, okay, you can work 4 hours. Or if you're working and the census is low, or you're just not able to fit it in the budget, that other nurse may have to pick up more patients and then somebody goes home. So you see how it affects you in it doesn't matter, just nurses, what I'm going to talk about, no, right? But you see where that happens. It's less hours, and less hours mean what? Less money. It means less money. So I see, and I saw where you ramped something up with your affiliate links. People are going to have to start finding other ways now. Like, hey, you have this platform. What can you do with it? Maybe you can do something a little bit different that can bring in extra income. Yeah, it will be difficult. Maybe there are people who may want to homeschool their children. They may want to do things a little bit different. And so we see where it's going to affect us. And like I said, for the people who are in the hospitals, I pray and I hope, or those who need medical care, and that if they're primary caregivers, they aren't affected badly. However, we know Medicare and Medicaid is another issue. So I'm just asking for folks to do their homework. If there's a loved one or somebody that you care about, you may just want to check in on them and make sure they have the resources that are necessary for them. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off, but I'll be back either later or tomorrow. Thank you for listening to this, and check out the replay. Watch all the ads. Give me a thumbs up. You can give me I always say a heart, but give me some pink ones. I love them. All right, until next time. Pink to match my shirt. Take care now. Bye bye.